Stacy K. was getting ready for bed at around 10 p.m. on October 29, 1997, when she heard a loud knock at the front door of her home in Pontiac, Michigan, and saw her 11-year-old neighbor Nathaniel Abraham standing alone on her porch. Opening the door, she found him whimpering, his eyes wide. "Oh, my God, something terrible has happened," he told her. Down the street, police lights were flashing. A short time later, Kay's roommate took Abraham next door to his home, where his mother, who worked a night job, had apparently left him alone. He was scared, like a little baby. 2 days later, as Nathaniel Abraham was celebrating Halloween in his 6th grade classroom at Lincoln Elementary School, a police officer arrived to take him in for questioning. Authorities were investigating the death of 18-year-old Ronnie Green Jr., a carpenter who had been killed by a single bullet to the head as he emerged from a convenience store near Abraham's home on the night of October 29. Under questioning, Abraham admitted he had fired a .22 cal rifle but insisted that he'd only been shooting at trees. Robin Adams, Ronnie Green's mother, 45, lost the second of her 3 children in the shooting. Adams, a greeter at a nearby Meijer store, said Ronnie, a high school dropout, had begun to find his niche, laying floors and installing cabinets, while still the type of guy who liked to have fun. Says Adams, "Some people take life so seriously. Ronnie didn't." For her, the shock of his death was redoubled when she learned the age of his accused killer. "I couldn't believe it. I was in shock again," she said. "When I saw him and realized he was just a young child, I thought, what is he doing with a gun? At that age?" Nathaniel hardly presented the image of a deadly killer. Wearing oversized prison garb, the 65-pound boy appeared tearful and bewildered at pre-trial hearings. But prosecutors argued that Nathaniel was exactly the type of juvenile offender the 1996 law had meant to target. Police had previously suspected him in almost 24 crimes, including burglary and assault. For a variety of reasons, however, the boy had never been formally charged. When the trial finally opened, prosecutor Lisa Holushka wrote down these words for the jury to read: "I'm gonna shoot somebody." This, she claimed, was what Nathaniel had said to his girlfriend days before the killing. As the trial progressed, Holushka called witnesses who supported the idea that Nathaniel's act had been a premeditated murder. He had stolen the rifle, then practiced target shooting at balloons. He had also fired the gun at a neighbor's house, barely missing the occupant, just before the fatal shooting. Later, Holushka noted that Nathaniel had told police conflicting stories about the shootings, proof that he knew what he had done, and that it was wrong. Unpersuaded, prosecutors not only charged the 11-year-old with first-degree murder but decided to try him as an adult, invoking the 1997 Michigan law that gives prosecutors the right to transfer any child's case into adult court if the charges involve certain serious crimes. Consequently, Abraham was 13 and one of the youngest people ever tried as an adult for murder in the U.S. since the 18th century, became the focal point of a national debate over how to handle dangerous young offenders. According to prosecutors, appearances are deceiving, and Abraham, though never before convicted of a crime, is, they say, a hardened street criminal. They alleged that before his arrest for murder, Abraham had 22 contacts with the police in connection with a long list of offenses, including arson, assaults and one incident with a metal pipe and break-ins. He was arrested only once, for burglarizing a garage, but was never formally charged. As evidence of his intent to kill, they alleged that several hours before the Green killing, Abraham shot at a neighbor and barely missed a charge on which he was also being tried. At Abraham's trial, a 16-year-old boy who had been with Abraham earlier on the night of the killing testified that the next day, Abraham boasted to him, "I got that nigga." Defense attorney Fieger argued that the shooting was an unfortunate accident. Nathaniel did fire the gun, yes, but was not trying to hit anyone. Fieger also introduced testimony from an expert marksman. The witness said that it would be almost impossible to deliberately hit a small target from more than 200 feet the distance Nathaniel was from the victim using the old, battered rifle the boy had fired. Fieger also called on child psychologists to describe Nathaniel's mental state. The boy, these experts testified, had an IQ of 70, and at the time of the murder, his thought processes were like those of a 7-year-old. Fieger tried to prove that Nathaniel lacked the mental capacity to form the intent to kill. A prosecution psychologist witness, however, testified to rebut this claim. Nathaniel Abraham was found guilty of shooting and killing Ronnie Green Jr. He was convicted of second-degree murder, but a juvenile sentence allowed him to be released from state supervision on January 18, 2007. Nathaniel's mother wept at the verdict while the victim's mother said in an interview that she was pleased. "Justice has been served," said Robin Adams, the mother of the slain man, Ronnie Green Jr. "The child has a lot of anger in him and someone needs to reach out to him." During his years of lockup, social workers and prosecutors expressed concerns about Abraham's temper. He has been punished for mouthing off and threatening one of his counselors after being fouled during a basketball game, and has taken anger management training. He was released from a juvenile detention facility on January 18, 2007, a day before his 21st birthday. He walked out of court that morning in a flashy pinstripe suit and fur coat. But this was not the end of Nathaniel's story. In the months following his release, Abraham got a job, focused on a music career and vowed to keep his life on the right track. But on May 30, 2008, he was arrested at a Pontiac gas station after police found 254 ecstasy pills in a bag in the trunk of his car. Abraham eventually pleaded guilty to possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance. In January 2009, he was sentenced to serve 4 to 20 years in prison and paroled in June 2017. He was discharged from parole in July 2018 and on August 6, 2018 was arrested after he allegedly exposed himself in front of a 46-year-old neighbor who had declined his offer to cut her lawn.